desire and heart to go and support hockey, but it was beautiful to watch. And I think we told you the other week that it's a busy month of February for South African sports. I mean, we've been hosting across different sporting codes, and also one of those sports that had nations descending to our beautiful shores over the past 2 weeks is hockey. And this past weekend saw, that global indoor hockey World Cup coming to an end, with the host nation making history. And to find out a little bit more on that massive feat, we are joined by Hockey SA CEO, Sean Pikes, who's here with us in studio. CEO, thank you so much for your time. Good evening. I know I will apologize ahead of time. I know your voice has taken a bit of a beating, but it was for a worthy cause. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, and to the listeners, thank you for being there.
What was the experience like for you?
Robert, I've been involved with hockey for many, many years, but I think this even topped Beijing Olympics for me as a person.
Wow.
Hosting it, I think it's a dream come true. We not for 1 minute thought that we would be hosting this year. Last year, it was not South Africa's World Cup to host yet.
Yes.
It was supposed to be in Belgium, and only in the latter part of the year were we awarded this World Cup. So we had to pull all the stops out to make it happen. And when you sit back and you look at all the footage of this past 10, 20, 15 days, you really appreciate the magnitude of what the Indoor World Cup means for South Africans. So as South African hockey, we are extremely proud to have been the host of the 6th edition.
And having been called up so late, though, there must have been challenges. There must have been things that you thought, no, never, you're not going to manage to pull them off.
But that's normal, hey?
Yeah.
South Africans rise to the occasion time after time.
Do you think that's what made you thrive on the challenge, thrive on the adrenaline that, you know what, we're going to do this?
Yes, I think that's exactly the story for
Yeah.
me. We basically only bagged our main sponsor, our partnering sponsor, towards the latter part. And when I say latter part, I'm speaking October, November.
Yeah.
That's when we got Spa on board. We had another sponsor that showed interest, and that didn't pan out, and we had to knock on many doors, and Spa opened their arms, and they were the main sponsor for this tournament. We're so grateful, because without them, there was just no way we could have pulled it off.
Because I remember, I think you had an interview sometime last year on ENCA, and you were asked about that. I think it was around about May. And you made mention of the fact that it is so difficult to pull sponsors through, to convince sponsors to come on board and be part and parcel of this journey. Why is it for a global sport, an Olympic sport, a Commonwealth Games sport, that it's so difficult for us to get the sponsors?
Robert, that's always very tricky. So we've got the main sports in the country, and hockey is not one of them. And that's really part of the problem. So if it's cricket, rugby, soccer, they will attract the money. They also attract the numbers, which I think after this tournament we'll be able to attract more. But before that, it was very little people in stands. A lot of hockey has happened on TV over the last year, so that's also highlighted to a lot of people out there that hockey is going somewhere. But I think still this World Cup has really shown a lot of potential investors that it's not just one of the smaller sports codes. From an eventing point of view, we can put up events like the best in the world. I mean, we've put up, since April last year, we had Junior World Cup that we ran in Poch, very successful. We had one of the Pro League legs in Poch, very successful. In November, December, we also ran a Nations Cup, which our men won, in Poch. And those are the things that is showing our International Hockey Federation the light. They're saying South Africa can host. The next best thing is, can we show the investors that we can host, and can we attract them?
But surely there was no greater advert than what we saw. I looked, especially over the weekend. I was going to ask you, and I've been dying to ask you, what was the secret? It's a simple question. What was the secret in getting those bums on seats? Because that atmosphere, even the traveling nations, they were just wallowing in it. They were excited by it. they were enthralled. What was the secret behind filling those venues?
So we looked at the legacy. What legacy could we leave for South Africa? We invited school kids in the middle of the week. Yes, it helped increase our numbers, but that also contributed to this excellent atmosphere. The weekend, we didn't get any schools to come, but they were there nonetheless because they saw, they experienced it, and they really appreciated it. I mean, we've had media people. Let me put it out there. We were planning for 10 to 15 media people because we thought hockey is this little, a little sport. Robert, it was full. It was packed. The media room was, bums on seats were there all the time. It was not only in the stands. Normally the media people were expected to leave, let's say, by 6. No, they were there until the last game. So that also helped us. There was a lot of hockey on different channels, and I think that's part of the solution. Going forward, that's definitely an avenue that we need to keep very close to us, to make sure that they know and they can help us put the word out there.
Do you think you can keep the momentum, though?
The intention is to keep the momentum.
But visibility is also important because that is exactly what sponsors want. They want that return on investment. They want to know, okay, like we were seeing, like you said, Spa was there, Tops was there, and we were watching and saying, okay, this is great.
Yes.
But it's on television.
Yeah.
But if it's not on TV, then it's lost and sponsors are not interested. Hence I say, what's the potential for the momentum to be kept?
So we do have a relationship with SuperSport that sponsors our national teams. So through that relationship, we are trying to get the sport on TV more.
Right.
However, that's not the only route we're using. So our social media platforms are really a buzz at the moment. We have the under-21 Indian team joining our under-21 national team in Cape Town on Wednesday for 3 games. Our under-21 men and women go to Egypt later, middle of March.
Yeah.
So there's more attention that we're trying to keep the momentum going. Yes, and we just carry on that way. All our future events this year, we've got a new events portfolio holder, and we're hoping with that focus, we will be able to really enhance and uplift the image of hockey in this country. One of the beautiful things we also did during this past week was we had an activation. We were supposed to have a couple, but the rain also let us down. So we had one where there was like 4 primary schools from Shosh that came through to CBC, and they were hosted there. We in turn, instead of us being rained out day 2 and day 3, Wednesday and Thursday, we then invited the children to come and have a look. And I think that was such an eye-opener. When you see the Kasim brothers in action in front of you, there's no other way than to feel enthused. The way they play hockey. Yeah. I'm not putting the rest of the team down, but the 2 brothers in particular, their names were on cards that the kids brought. So if you look through the grandstands and you see little kids chanting the names, then you think, okay, something good is happening.
But those are superheroes. Those are potential superheroes. That's how the Sean Pollocks of this world in cricket, they were built, and so many more other players, whether it's rugby, football, they get built on the image of what the youngsters portray you to be.
Yes, exactly. Mustafa was awarded the junior player of the Indo World Cup. So, that just shows how good he performed amongst the best in the world. He also recently at the World Cup in India, he also achieved that same level, that same standard. He was named junior player of the World Cup. Yeah. So one understands that in order for youngsters to be attracted to the game, it's also important to create role models. And what better role models than those 2 brothers?
Did it surprise you how the women just rose to the occasion? Remember, they missed out in 2018.
Wow. Sitting here, I'm humbled because the thinking was that the men would go reach better heights than the women. In chatting to both coaches before the tournament started, they were just hoping for top 8. Deep in his heart, one of the coaches said to me, my big, hairy, audacious goal is actually to try and medal. And I thought, no, man. If the other coach was saying this, maybe I would believe it. But as the games, the momentum, those girls were phenomenal. They just rose. Game after game after game. They just took it on as if they were world champions. And it is really phenomenal to see that because of this. So we projecting what the new rankings would be.
Right.
The men before the tournament were ranked 11th. We anticipate them to come in at 7. And the women were ranked 14. And we anticipate with the showing they'd come up at 6. And as you know, the men ended up 6th in the tournament. Correct. Where the women were 4th. Yeah. So it is phenomenal. It is exceptional, especially since this year South Africa is celebrating the women.
Oh. We've stressed that so much here, Sean, on the show, that we need to raise the profile. If people were not aware, we are raising it. Hockey was doing it. Cricket has been doing it. And we'll continue to highlight all of that. And I am glad that your projections are putting both men and women at single figures and not double-digit rankings on the world platform. All right, going to come back from the break. We'll continue our conversation here. Any questions that you do have, remember, it's a lightning show. It's a quick show. And we're not going to be having Sean Bikes here for the entire show. But we needed to celebrate, man, what has been an outstanding showing all round. Don't go anywhere. Hashtag MSW continues after this.
Fly Emirates twice daily from Johannesburg to Dubai and beyond and experience more. In Emirates Economy, it's endless entertainment on the biggest screens in the sky plus live sport. That's more. Gourmet cuisine that gives you a taste of your destination served with free-flowing drinks. That's more. Special meals and toys for kids to keep your little explorers happy. That's more. So whichever way you look at it, more really does mean more in Emirates Economy. Fly Emirates. Fly better.
I am proudly part of the unique Crawford International Learning Community.
We are a school of voice and choice.
Voice because we are actively included and involved in decisions about our learning journey, our personal progress, and our school.
Choice because as future change makers, we personally and collaboratively continue to make academic, social, and personal choices that ensure impact and success.
We are Crawford International.
Join us for an open day at your nearest campus. Visit crawfordinternational.co.za for more information.
10 Buck Tuesday is back at Food Lovers Market. Get loose bananas for only 10 Rand per kilo. A 1 kg thrift pack of Golden Delicious or Royal Gala apples for only 10 Rand. A broccoli pre-pack for 10 Rand. 2 crumb chicken burger patties for 10 Rand. And 2 chicken or pork breakfast sausages also for just 10 bucks. Valid this Tuesday only at all inland Food Lovers Market stores. The best in fresh, guaranteed.
Turn your mindset into a mind shift with the powerful new Nissan Magnite. From only 4,820 Rand per month with no deposit. You get progressive styling, a cabin loaded with technology, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, and available in both Auto CVT or manual. Book your test drive at nissan.co.za. The Nissan Magnite. Never stand still. Based on the 1-litre turbo Ascenta manual, 72 months, 12.09% linked rate. Retail price 296,500. 1208 initiation fee, 40% balloon. Cost of credit 460820. T's and C's apply.
To live is to own the sky. The new Sandton Platinum Residences. A new world in the heart of Sandton. 40 stories of fully furnished apartment luxury with a sky deck, a pool, a gym, shopping, beauty, a sports field and a creche. A walk to the Gautrain and Sandton City and no load shedding ever. Sandton Platinum Residences. Launching 18 Feb. Get more on sotheby'srealty.co.za and own the sky from just 890,000 Rand.
Power up your next project at Chamberlain's. Join us from the 23rd of January to the 28th of February for our Power Tools Extravaganza. Need to get a job done? Make the most of these incredible offers on power tools from top brands including Bosch, Makita, Ryobi, Stanley and DeWalt. Also stand a chance of winning 1,000 Rand of in-store giveaways every hour on Saturdays. And while we mix your paint, get a free cappuccino on us. Chamberlain's, famous for hardware and power tools since 1903.
Marawa Sports Worldwide Live.
In 3, 2, 1.
On 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. #MSW. Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
TTM as well as a club official have been charged by the Premier Soccer League's disciplinary committee for threatening violence. And listen to this. To bewitch a match official. Here is the PSL DC prosecutor, Zola Machafu.
Good evening. The second respondent, Mr. Labaselani, verbally abused the match officials and used unpalatable language towards them, further threatened them with violence, and also threatened to bewitch the affected match official. And to make it worse, he further took samples of the soil or the ground on which that match official walked on for purposes of muti.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW. Not your ordinary Monday. It's Reaction Monday. Hashtag MSW.
Good evening, Mr. Marawa. Ukhuluma nesibongeleni wakamkhwana. Mr. Marawa, first let me send my deepest condolences to umndeni waka aka Mr. Marawa. Then coming to soccer, let me start with Real Madrid. Congratulations to them for clinching their 5th Club World Cup on the weekend. And then coming to AMA Games, Nedbank Cup, I was very happy seeing Kaizer Chiefs progressing to the last 16. As much as it was a hard-fought win against a 10-man Maritzburg United, but congratulations to them. And then again, congratulations to Amazul, another hard-fought win by a KZN team, which I love a lot, Mr. Marawa. And then lastly, I wish Mamelodi Sundowns can get one of the big teams from Soweto. Thank you, Mr. Marawa. Good show.
Marawa Sports Worldwide. This is 947. Music Life. Hashtag MSW.
Music Life. 947. In fact, you're catching us wherever you are in and around the country, the continent, and the world. We're also live on Vuma FM, Rise FM, and on Sowetan Live. Catch our live stream on YouTube, and you'll get to see a very happy, very successful Hockey SA CEO. Sean Bikies is here with me in studio. You know what I hate? Can I tell you what my pet hate is?
Please tell me.
Interim anything, acting anything. I always believe that if you're acting, go and audition for one of the telenovelas on television. But I can't be having Sean Bikies be an acting CEO for this long without making it official.
I would like the best person to be appointed.
Who's the best person?
I think I am, but
So
I
have
don't
you
know
applied?
because I'm limiting myself. So if I go back to how I got into this interim position,
Yes.
I'm sure you know Marissa Langeni.
12 years in charge.
Yes. So she got a job at USA
Yes.
as CEO, and they were looking for somebody to just, keep the ship afloat. And because I was not in permanent employment at the time, I said, you know what, I love hockey so much. I've been in hockey for close to 40 years, administrator. Why not?
Yeah.
I've managed teams. So I've got a sense of what this job entails, and it will give the executive time to look for someone else. But Robert, it's been hectic. Since I took over, it was just the end of Junior World Cup. There was so many tournaments. Pro League, three times out of the country. It was Com Games. There was World Cup for the ladies. There's World Cup for the men. It was probably 20 teams that were prepared since the time I joined to now.
Yeah.
And it just wasn't time. But the advert will go out during this week still.
Why are we even advertising? I know it's procedural.
But let us do this.
Yeah, it's procedural.
Let us do the procedure. Let us do the right thing.
And go for the interview.
Well, yes.
And get the job.
Probably.
I have no doubt. And trust me, I am no person to sing the praises of any administrator in any sport. You reminded me when you walked in here and you said, guess when was the last time I saw you, Robert? And you said what?
Com Games.
Commonwealth Games.
2007.
In Melbourne.
Yes, in Melbourne.
In Australia. Right. That's a long time. That's a long time ago. But that is how long you have invested in what you do. And experience counts for a lot. And that is why at times you've got these wishy-washy administrators that talk big, know nothing. Let me take Ruben in Samoa, talking about how to get a hockey sponsorship. Ruben, thank you so much indeed. Good evening.
Hi, g'day. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. CEO's here.
So, it seems my message got across right now. I'm actually a cheerleader. I'm part of the South African national cheerleading team.
Yes.
And we are touring to America in April to represent the country in basically what is our World Cup. This has been, or people have been touring for the sport for ages now, and we are desperately also looking for sponsors to go. It's not a very well-known sport right now, but it is growing rapidly, and we're just desperately looking for sponsors that would be willing to make our chances of getting there a lot better, and we can get gold. Our members of the team can see it, we can feel it, and we just love the confidence backing in terms of the sponsorship that will allow us to go.
You said you're heading to which destination again? Sorry, Ruben?
We are going to America. We will be competing in the ESPN venue at Florida in America.
And how much time do we have to try and pull this off?
Well, we leave, if I'm not mistaken, the 16th of April, so anything up until then can help immensely. It's really needed as much as possible.
Ruben, can I ask you to be brave? Can I ask you to be brave and just put out a figure in terms of what would to you seem like at least enough?
Well, the cost per person as it stands now is about 44,000 Rand per person. And we have 22 athletes plus 3 coaches going, of which the costing is all the same. So I'm not too sure what that full round figure would be, but that would be the costing per person.
Okay. All right. Let me bring CEO on here just to give us a little bit of assistance, Ruben, while you're on the line. We will take your details down because I think also part and parcel of what this show is about is to try and assist where we can, to try and put it out there to society and even people that are listening to the show right now thinking, okay, we could do something here. From your side, CEO, what do you make of Ruben's approach right now?
Very brave.
Yeah.
And sometimes as a sports person, if there isn't funding and if there isn't sponsorship knocking your doors down, then sometimes this is what our players end up doing.
Yeah.
It's a shame that a national player of any sport needs to fund themselves.
But we've seen this, though.
Yes.
I mean, you've seen the Kevin Andersons of this world, the Rake Neertlings back in the day. They had to go to America. They had to make themselves better and greater. We claim them at the end product. We've seen the Joburg of this world go to America, and then we claim them when it's time for, the Olympic Games. Yeah, he's one of our own, but we've invested nothing in them. And that's the hard part of it. You've heard, Ruben. I am going to release you, but thank you so much for calling through. We do have your number. I'm getting a thumbs up there from the production booth. So, we'll be in touch.
Thank you so much, guys. It's greatly appreciated, and I really look forward to hearing from you guys. Thank you so much for the time.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you so much indeed. As I said, we build a community. That is why at times we don't have listeners on this show. We have shareholders.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that is what we call them, shareholders of MSW. And whatever the desires are of a next person, we try and make it happen. And it's happened multiple times. And we don't overpromise. Sometimes there will be disappointment. You've seen disappointment. You've seen the rocky road of hockey. You've seen the hockey players think, they've qualified, they're going to the Olympic Games, and then there was a roadblock. They couldn't go. They've met the criteria, but they couldn't go. Would you categorically say that those days are done? They'll all be judged on what they do on the field, what they do on the court, that will earn them a trip to whatever the tournament is.
Robert, that's so true. In our selection process now, up front, selectors know what our criteria are for our senior bodies. The requirements are, they know what it is.
Sure.
We also, over time, have built strong players. Players that can take up their space. They're not there because of the color of their skins. They're there because they can play hockey. It's not a matter of, excuse me?
Not a problem.
Just get some water.
Yeah, absolutely. I did say. She's been shouting the entire week.
So our players that now take to the field.
Yeah.
And you can see them, you can watch their game. They're not there because someone's feeling sorry for them. They are there because they deserve and earn. They've earned their place on that field. Our coaches don't see color. They see players. And that is what SA Hockey has been working towards for many, many years. And over the last couple of years, we've actually succeeded. We really push at the lower levels for players to be nurtured correctly. So I think sometimes you think, but that's a black player, they should be in the team. And you think, if you look back and understand where the person comes from, what their personal circumstances are, you have to stop and say, does the person have the right support? Do they have sufficient of everything? Like, are they well nutrition? Do they have transport to high performance sessions 6 o'clock in the morning? All those things people often forget about. And that's part of becoming a national player. It's not just having skill. It's making provision for all the peripheral stuff. And knowing the way our coaches run their teams now, they are very aware of not just that chick or that guy on the park, but they are interested in the whole person.
All right. And I know I said I'm not going to punish you too long, given, the throat challenges. So I'm going to live up to my promise. Although I'm not interviewing you for the job, but I think this is important for the nation to know from you, given the vast experience and time that you've spent within sport generally. I won't even limit it to just hockey. What would it take for South Africa to be number one ranked team in hockey worldwide, for both men and for women?
Firstly, a couple of years, because we know experience helps you perform better. If you just simply look at what the men did at Com Games last year compared to what they did earlier the year, they played a lot of international hockey, which gave them the expertise. Just as an example, our women's coach has got a program up to Paris 24 of 100 caps.
Wow.
So you can imagine the intensity of that program. So those are the things that can help us get to number one. But we won't be at number one in when Paris comes along. We'll be a bit closer when we go to LA, but it's time. It's having a solid program in place, and without sponsors, that solid program will not take place.
Let me ask you a straightforward question. Does the lotteries board give you any money?
Yes, they do.
Enough?
One tour out of this country is about 1.6 million. One tour for about 10 days.
So they've been supportive.
They have been over time.
Because they need to be consistent. And I'm not saying that they ought to, they need to, and we're forcing them to. No. I just know that Australia, when they became a force, when Australia became that number one in terms of gold medals at Olympic Games, had to do with their lotteries. Yes. The lottery was pumping in lots of money in terms of their development. So we appreciate what they're doing in terms of the trips. But before you get on a trip, you need to cultivate that talent.
You need to prepare.
Yeah. And I think that is where that whole cultivation process, we need to find out how we keep it consistent. And that's going to be part and parcel of the challenge as well. And I'm glad you said you're up to the task. And I want to thank you so much. Despite having to drink liters of ginger, lemon, and, hot water all at the same time, you made it through to the studio. We might not have walked away with the main prize, but I think South Africa showed what it could do in terms of hosting, in terms of playing, just in terms of general support from the public. And it's all credit to your work. Sean, maybe your final word before we say goodbye.
A tournament of this nature is really not possible without a lot of volunteers. And we had an excellent team of volunteers. We had an excellent LOC, and I must take my hat off to them. It was long hours, average of 18 hours. And SA Hockey just wants to thank them for their contribution, but more so the world at large, because we know that the world was watching. Ours was the first World Cup out of Europe ever. Indoor World Cup was always held in Europe, so we hope we set the stage for the rest of the world to follow.
We rocked. If there's one thing I can tell you, we rocked. Sean and your team, thank you so much indeed. May more come through. Good luck if the appointment is to happen. Hockey SA, acting interim CEO. The word that I hate. Sean Bike is with us here in studio. Thank you so much. And once again, well done.
Thank you. Thank you, Robert. Thank you,
Truly, truly appreciate that. We'll take any of your voice notes as well coming through tonight.
Good evening, Farooq. This is Lwazi from King Williamstown. Firstly, I would like to say condolences to the Forbes family. We have lost one of the big superstars in the entertainment industry. And also, my reaction Monday is for, firstly, the Orange Army making us proud as Eastern Cape, Sambulela Klamadota Selipondo, and also a reaction for Orlando Pirates, Tembego Seloch. If you feel like a new signing, thank you very much, Farooq.
Right, hashtag MSW. Temba Bavuma coming up after the break. Don't go anywhere.
Hashtag MSW. Live now on 947 Vuma FM, Rise FM, and Soweto Live. At the same time.
Hashtag MSW.
This is Katlego.
In the flesh.
Katlego is naked. Aren't you, Katlego?
I sure am.
Katlego, what should you never do naked? Meet a broker. You should never meet a broker when you're naked. Do you know why?
It might be awkward.
Not quite. You never meet a broker when you're naked because when you're naked, you do insurance online. Cover your car, home, and stuff in seconds without talking to anyone.
So I never have to talk to a broker?
No, Katlego. Never when you're naked.
All right.
Naked Financial Technologies and authorized FSP.
This summer, unlock big data on the go with this red-hot deal from Vodacom. No matter where you are, you'll stay connected with 200 gigs data for only 299 Rand per month over 36 months. That's a massive 100 gigs anytime and 100 gigs night owl data for you to work, learn, and play. Miss it, miss out. T's and C's apply.
Red Hot Deals.
Further together, Vodacom.
Pack your A game. Join today and get the new limited edition Virgin Active bag plus the rest of February free. Dare to start strong and keep going. Dare to make 2023 all about your wellness journey. We are the ones who dare. Do you? Call 0860 Get Fit or visit your nearest club to get started. T's and C's apply. virginactive.co.za.
Do you with the revamped Suzuki Espresso, now with exciting new features. Do cool tech with a new generation touchscreen that connects you to Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. Do class-leading safety, which adds ESP and ISOFIX to the already impressive ABS, EBD, and dual front airbags. Do fuel efficiency with engine auto stop-start technology. Do you in the Suzuki Espresso from only 162,900. Contact your nearest Suzuki dealer to book a test drive now. T's and C's apply.
Sage gives businesses like Brian Habanas the tools and insights to stay ahead of tax year end.
For us, speed, quickness is incredibly key in the success of our business, and we've learned that we need to always be on top of things.
Become a Sage customer like Brian and set up your business for success. Visit tax.sage.co.za today. Sage, helping business flow.
Benny's been waiting for his next passenger, but while there's a break in play, it's time to check on his multi-bet, needing just one more result for an incredible win.
Utata! How does Benny even handle the pressure?
It's been a smooth ride so far, but what's this?
Goal! Is this the end of his multi-bet?
The final whistle's blown, but there's still gas left in the tank. With money back boost, he'll at least get all the cash he put down back. Another great offer from Betway.
Wati moto, wati farara, apay labantu.
T's and C's apply. Licensed and regulated by the Western Cape Gambling and Racing Board. No persons under the age of 18 years are permitted to gamble. For gambling counseling, call SARGF on 0800 006 008 or WhatsApp 076 675 0710.
Marawa Sports Worldwide. Changing and re-engineering sports on the continent and the world. Previously on Marawa Sports Worldwide.
Nasport, my guest here tonight, talking about his illustrious career. Nasty Buta. So, I mean, you were the hot throb rugby player back in those days.
Let's just keep it there, in those days. I like the way you say those days, and I think that's absolutely true. Life changed for a lot of us since those days. So let's just actually enjoy where we are today.
And where exactly is Nasport today? Because we hear of India.
I'm not the head coach, if you can put it that way. I gather I'm like you. We just keep busy.
Hashtag MSW. Hashtag MSW.
Hi, Robert. I watched with keen interest the results of the Nedbank the past weekend. I don't know whether PSL standard is dropping or the small teams are, putting more effort when they meet, the higher teams like the PSL teams or what? Because most of the PSL teams struggled during this past weekend. Besides the Skukuni game, all the other teams, the PSL teams, they really struggled.
Yeah, DJs, on-air personalities today celebrating a very special day. World Radio Day.
On the 13th of February is a celebration of radio, World Radio Day. And basically when you think radio, you think of transmission, you think of messaging, and messaging is very important. Now, the main purpose of radio should be to spread a message, and I'm sure we can spread messages of hope, messages of peace, messages that are more progressive. So it is very important on World Radio Day that we find a way for those who are at positions where they need to communicate, whatever messages they have must be communicated more positively for peace sake, for progression, for development of humanity. So World Radio Day could be utilized by those who are powerful enough, who need a platform to send messages. And the funny part of messaging, which also talks to radio, is frequency. Frequency simply brings people to the same level of understanding. So the audience on radio must hit the same frequency of the guy passing on the message. So it is therefore very important that the ones who are prepared to pass on a message on the 13th of February on World Radio Day, the target market must be of relevance. Otherwise, the frequency gets lost. Let's celebrate the 13th of February, World Radio Day. Pass on positive messages, especially of peace.
Steve Kambela. Talk about a peaceful human being. Talk about an orator. We thank you so much, legend. And to all the different colleagues across many different radio stations, but more importantly, 947. We say happy Radio Day, Vuma FM, Rise FM, Sowetan Live. Welcome to the movement. Now, when you talk about, sometimes mission statements can feel like kind of contrived corporate mumbo jumbo, an extension of someone in leadership's ego rather than a realistic goal. Now, take this inaugural SA20 competition, for instance, and before the start of it, the organization stated the rather lofty goal that it aims to be the second best T20 cricket tournament after the IPL, which is the Indian Premier League. So the competition has exceeded all expectations, laying a strong foundation for the future. And the final yesterday, beautiful weather. And your first champions were crowned. Sunrisers Eastern Cape edging out the Pretoria Capitals in a thriller of a game. Let's quickly reflect on the game itself. And the tournament, its success and lessons. We've got a champ now. Temba Bavuma, good evening, Tata. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, and hope you guys are good.
We're always good. How are you? How are you feeling? And as I say, you're a champion. Maybe might not have started from the beginning, but you raised that trophy.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel good. Happy, obviously, to be a part of the team, to have contributed to their cause. But yeah, super happy. Might not sound like it, but super happy.
I was about to say, it doesn't even sound like you're feeling like a champion right now. But what kept your head above water? What kept you motivated, Tam? I mean, you know what happened when the tournament started and all the backlash, and everybody was in support of you, but it wasn't going to change anything with you being left out. Now you pop in and there's almost like a dead silence. What kept you headstrong?
Hard to say. I think just the passion and love for cricket. I think that's always been my go-to. That's always been what I've known when it comes to cricket. So, with everything else that kind of comes with it, that's stuff that I've kind of learned now. Being within the Proteas, having the responsibility of being a captain, and that I try to deal with as best as I can. But when things are not going your way, when it's a bit dark, I always lean to my passion and love for the game.
Those 180 runs, with the highest score of 109, you led from the front. Talking about the series now, do you think that was also a contributor? Because we kind of gave you a standing ovation to say, yeah, that's the Tambo we know.
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I think going into that Indian series, I think I was a lot more clearer, to be honest, in terms of my mind and how I wanted to go about things. I tried to free myself as much as I could. And just go out and just try enjoy your batting. Go out there and express myself, and kind of whatever happens. I think I was quite. I kind of made that mental decision as well. With whatever happens. But I'm really going to go out and try express myself. Obviously, the challenge is for me to keep that going. But I was quite happy, quite satisfied with the way I went about my business, and I'm sure people as well who are watching were as well.
I'm going to ask you not to go anywhere because we got Adrian Birrell standing by live from Bloemfontein. Adrian, thank you so much for your time. Good evening, and dare I say, congratulations, champ.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Good evening, everyone.
Have you celebrated? Tambit sounds like he didn't celebrate not one bit.
No, not a lot. No, I had to drive back home to Grahamstown, or near Grahamstown from Joburg today. So we had to get up at 2 a.m. So I didn't celebrate. But obviously, we delighted.
What's the championship feeling right now? Because this was such a much talked about Adrian tournament. We've watched it on television. The stadium looked like people were having fun. It was a great vibe. But for you out there and finally being able to lift the trophy?
Oh, that was, a fantastic feeling. But, I must say the SA20 was a great success, and all credit goes to Graham Smith and his team. And, it was really so well attended. There was a vibe in every stadium. The Sunrisers home ground at St. George's was, packed every time with a tremendous atmosphere. So it was just, such a nice thing to be involved with.
I know that the weather also played its part, and it can be frustrating sometimes for players. They want to play on a certain day, but you as professional cricketers kind of get used to that. Did that offset you somewhat, or did it pump you up a bit more?
Well, a few years ago, I was with, in the MSL, I was with Paul Rocks, and we got to the semi-final, and it was rained out, and Josie Stars went through because there wasn't a rain reserve day. And I was thinking, well, we're going to play against JSK in the semi-final, and it looked like rain for 2 days. And I thought we would miss out on playing a semi-final. But eventually we got lucky and we played. And then the final was washed out on the Saturday. And fortunately, it was clear on the Sunday. And, the ground staff did fantastically well. But it is a bit frustrating waiting around, and you don't know what the conditions are going to be like. And, I do think we got the better of the conditions on Sunday in that final. It certainly played better in the second half after we put the heavy roller on. So, I think we got a bit of luck there.
Yeah, I mean, talk about a bit of luck, though. There was a lot of heavy hitting, which is what fans really come out to see. And no one was spared in terms of that. I mean, isn't that the joy of the T20 format, and especially played, let's say, on home soil?
Yes, that is what the fans come to see. Fast bowling and fierce hitting. And I think we had, both of that in the final. Heinrich Nokia is a real talent, and we had to see him off. And and Adam Rossington was the firepower for us, and his innings was just fantastic in the final to go out and play like he did. Just my hats off to him.
And just your word to Tamba. I mean, he's still on the line in case you haven't spoken to him. This man must have, crocodile skin.
Yeah, well, we were delighted to get him in to play the last few games. And I like leaders in our team. We got quite a few leaders, and Katemba's a leader, and he came in and in his quiet way led behind the scenes, and it was great to have him there because we were playing also up country the last few games, and he was able to give us advice on the pitch, and just having him at the start of our innings is quite it gives us a lot of confidence, and so it was great having him on board.
Yeah, Tamba, I mean, just your response to that, being warmly welcomed like that and ushered in, obviously as a leader, but also somebody with more than a capable ability.
Yeah, I think, like I said, I was obviously quite delighted to be called in. And I think, getting into the team, it was quite easy, interacting and being a part of the team. I really got a sense of a team where, there weren't any big egos that were involved, but a sense of guys who played for each other, definitely played for Coach Bill. And obviously also well led by a guy like Aiden. So I think for me coming in, it felt quite easy, and I really got the sense of the happiness and enjoyment from the players.
All right, and chatting to obviously the highly victorious the coach, Adrian Birrells here, live from Bloemfontein. Temba Bavuma as well, the Sunrisers batsman, also joining us on the line. And we're just going to keep batting on. I know that it's late into the show, but we said whatever happens, we wanted the guys to be in studio. It didn't happen, but we've got them on the line. And if you are going to be celebrating, you celebrate with them each and every time. Aidan Markram joins me on the line as well. Aidan joined a party of three. I'm the fourth one. I'm the gate crasher here. Firstly, congratulations. Leadership beyond comprehension for this one. First time out, and you raised that trophy. Tell me the feeling.
Same, thanks, Robert. It was a great feeling. Just a great bunch of guys that we happened to get together and enjoyed each other's company along the months, and it was capped off nicely with a trophy yesterday. So it was a pleasant month and a memorable one for all of us.
But what do you take out of the tournament itself? I think both Coach and Tamba here have said success right throughout. And from your side, would you say the same? What stands out?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's great to win. I think sportsmen are always competitors, and it's never nice losing. So the successful days were the memorable ones for sure, but just the relationships built off the field were great, and guys really all sort of buying into the same idea in the same way that the coach wanted to play the game, and it reflected quite nicely for us as well.
What do you think the future is going to be like? I think Graham Smith has set the bar very high with this one. What do you think it's going to look like? Get better and better?
I would think so. I would hope so as well. It was a great tournament, and I think Graham and his team needs a lot of thanks and a lot of mentions moving forward for what they've created. But I think it's only going to get better, to be honest. I think you look at the overseas personnel that were involved in this league this year, some really big names, and all of them really love the tournament and love the concept. So I think it's just the start, and I do hopefully believe that it's going to get a lot bigger and better.
What did you make of Roelof's devastating spin?
Yeah, him the Bulldog. He's a great man and fierce competitor, but a really great human off the field as well. And without him knowing, guys sort of just observe what he does and observe his behaviours, and they tend to follow his way. And his way is pretty basic. It's to get straight into the fight and give your very best every time you're out there. And he made a massive difference for us once he started playing.
Yeah, just an acknowledgement, guys. So many of your fans are saying congratulations. We're not going to be able to squeeze them into the show now, but just know that as Marawa Sports Worldwide live on 947, Vuma FM, Rise FM, as well as Sowetan Live, right across the country, the continent and the world, they are very, very proud of the achievement. Thanks for squeezing us into your day schedule, guys. And once again, congratulations. I appreciate your time.
Thank you, Rob.
Thank you very much, Robert.
Thank you so much, guys. Really, really appreciate it, man. Absolutely super champions. And on Reaction Monday, what a way to doff our hats to their achievements.
Good evening, Rob. It's Tebogo here. I just want to compliment Coach Atazwani for his tactical flexibility after Marisbeck got the red card, pushed Ngezana and Tlanti forward, tried combination play, it never worked, tried wing play with Sukhota, it never worked. And for me, the coach went to one of the modern ways of playing the game to invert the wingers, which saw Happy Mashiane and Ngezana moving and advancing forward, which created those great opportunities in the game. And for me, that says a lot about the tactical acumen of this coach. I just hope that the supporters and many of the people who are criticizing him will see these tactical...
Yeah, the tactical changes and nuances of it. It's been great. On a Monday, Reaction Monday. Catch you again tomorrow.
Marawa Sports Worldwide on 947, Monday to Friday from 6 to 7 p.m.